Netflix has released a lot of movies as of late. Today we have 3 different reviews, 1 video, 1 me, unfortunately. Let's do it. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking The Dig, Finding Ohana, and Penguin Bloom in that order. I need you in the comments down below. There will be time codes in the description. And of course, if you enjoy these Netflix reviews, be sure to drop this vid a thumbs up. And let's get right into our first review. This is for The Dig. So, an archaeologist embarks on a historically important excavation in 1938, starring Carey Mulligan and Ralph Fiennes and Lily James. I mean, this cast is just great, and you're watching this film, a very distinct period piece. You get these grand, beautiful shots, some incredible visuals from a cinematography perspective, but it's a story that I feel like some may go into thinking, well, it's going to be long, it's going to be a bit slow, maybe a bit boring, and occasionally, it does veer into that territory, but what I liked about this is it's so refreshing in terms of the attitude and the spirit of the film. But not only that, you also have some incredible chemistry between Carey Mulligan and Ralph Fiennes, who is just spectacular. Both actors completely nail that 1930s feel, but that's not the only storyline that we have, because we also have the inclusion of Lily James here, who, honestly, I didn't even know she was in the film. I didn't see a trailer before going into this movie, so I was completely shocked when she showed up. But her storyline, at first I was questioning it. I'm like, is this going to add to the plot? Because we've already got this story. We're focused on the excavation. We're focusing on The Dig. And while it doesn't sound like it's going to be the coolest thing in the world, it was actually fairly interesting, and I was enjoying myself. And then that storyline comes in, and I started to really get on board with that as well. There's a bit of a relationship drama happening, and you also have the subtle tragedies that happen along this excavation. So again, it may not be the most interesting movie you're going to see all year, because the focus is laid out, and that's exactly what it is, but the fact that it's straight to the point allows this movie to kind of flow and flourish in that nature. So, a few pacing problems aside, I think The Dig is a solid film on Netflix to watch this weekend, not only for the performances, but also the direction. The spirit of the 1930s is nailed, and the story is much more engaging than anticipated. My score is a 70%. It is on Netflix right now, and it's one, if you like both of these performers, that I thoroughly think you're going to enjoy. The next film, Finding Ohana, a very different demographic. This is much more so for families, and you're also going to get Goonies vibes from watching this trailer, and I think you're going to get it from watching the movie as well. So a summer in rural Oahu takes an exciting turn for 2 Brooklyn-raised siblings when a journal pointing to long-lost treasure sets them on an epic adventure with new friends and leads them to reconnect with their Hawaiian heritage. So I won't lie to you. This film starts out, it's very cheesy. I mean, not just with the characters, but the characters are doing things that are very outside of reality. There's like a bike race, and one character throws something to hit a button so they can use a crosswalk, and it's like almost physically impossible to do. And, you know, they're going through the motions at the beginning, and I'm thinking to myself, it's very outside of reality. Okay, I guess it understands that it is that. But once we set off on this adventure and we learn more about their family and how long they've been away from this place, and we get to see the beautiful Hawaiian landscape, that's when the movie really started to get at least better, right? I still am not sure if it fully captured what it was going for, because when you're trying to be an offshoot of the Goonies, you have to at least deliver on a thoroughly interesting story. And I'm not completely sure that they did that as an adult, but as a younger audience member, I could see watching this film and having a good time with it. Listen, the dialogue, it is not the best. And there are so many moments throughout the movie that will have you scratching your head. It's like, why would someone say something like this? Why are they sitting here talking about how Lost is a poorly plotted and poorly executed show when I'm kind of feeling the same way about this movie? There are a lot of Meghan Trainor references that come across as extremely awkward. They do the Ant-Man flashback thing so many times throughout the movie, and that felt a bit awkward as well. It's just, you know, it's a movie that really shoots for the stars in terms of being this full-on, grand, kid-centric adventure, but there are just some moments that feel a bit awkward, and it feels like an adult writing it going, kids are going to love this, and I'm just like, but will they? But I will say, once you get into this adventure, this treasure hunt of sorts, that's when the movie really did start to become far more entertaining, and I could see many finding enjoyment from Finding Ohana. So listen, if you have kids, then I think this movie is at least worth a watch for that. It is clearly meant for that demographic. I just wish they would have kept some of those other moments out. So it's enough to keep younger audience members enthralled, but it never quite goes beyond that. My score for Finding Ohana is a 50%. Now, don't let that steer you away if you were looking forward to a movie like this, or if you are a fan of the Goonies. It clearly has that level of cheese, but it just didn't quite get there, in my opinion. The final film we are talking about is Penguin Bloom. So a family takes in an injured magpie that makes a profound difference in their lives. This film stars, well, actually Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead and Naomi Watts as Sam. Now, Sam has been through something extremely tragic, and she's really having trouble trying to figure out where she's going to go next and how she's going to overcome this tragedy. But not only that, her family is kind of struggling through some things as well. And then they get this magpie, this bird that comes along, and everyone kind of rallies around that. And I won't say what differences that makes in their lives, but things slowly start to change just a bit, even though the drama is coming out. And I think Penguin Bloom is a very sweet film because of that. It's called Penguin Bloom because the bird's name is Penguin. It's not a penguin. I was a little bummed out. But to be honest with you, it was a sweet film. A little predictable. And there are a few things in there that I would have changed and enhanced within the story. Because while the goal is very apparent, and we reach that goal eventually, and it's very emotional, there are subplots throughout the film that I just feel like were unnecessary. It's almost like, I wouldn't say a short film, it's almost like the movie didn't have to be as long as it was, even though it wasn't really long to start with, if that makes sense. Once we start to figure out things behind their past, that's when it gets more interesting, and I liked the family dynamic quite a bit, even though sometimes they're not the best to each other. But overall, Penguin Bloom is a sweet story. I think it is a necessary story, and it's dealing with something that I think some people actually have to deal with, and that's going to resonate a lot with viewers. So it is worth a watch at the end of the day. Tragic and uplifting. Penguin Bloom overcomes unnecessary story elements to find emotional resonance, especially if you're an animal lover. I think you're going to like this movie. I'm going to go 60% for Penguin Bloom. I've logged all of these movies on Letterboxd. You can go over there, check out more in-depth reviews, but this was fun. If you guys like this little ongoing series of combining multiple reviews in one video, it's a fun way for me to review more things, so let me know by dropping your thumbs up, and which movie are you guys most interested in out of the three. You're the best. I'll see you soon.